Kempire is brought to you by
London. We are officially here for the Kempire After Dark live experience happening on Sunday, December 8th. But before that, we have the Kempire University. So if there have been questions that you have about your own social media, your own brand, your own business, or you want me to take a look at your business plan or your social media, this is your opportunity if you are here in London. Limited seats are available for the Kempire University. More information on the Kempire After Dark experience and the university will be available in the description notes. After Dark, don't forget, we are coming back to Washington, D.C. on January 24th of 2025. And of course, New York City, you're up after that. More information on that will be available very, very soon. But in regards to Washington, D.C., check out the description notes for more details.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
What is going on, everyone? I'm live from London, preparing for the Kempire After Dark, a live experience on December 8th. Again, if you are in London, will be in London, or can be in London, make sure you get your tickets right now. And the day before, we have the Kempire University. So if you've been wanting to pick my brain on your brand, your business, or trying to build a brand or business within the social media and YouTube or TikTok space, this is your exclusive opportunity. Limited seats are available. More information on the Kempire After Dark live experience and Kempire University will be available in the description. But first, we have to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Watched it last night, jet lagged and all, and then watched it again this morning. And honestly, not a lot is going on with the ladies, but they're still very entertaining. So we have to talk about that, and we have to talk about this Dorit and Kyle beef. Not sure I'm that invested, and I hope that we're not going to spend the rest of the season talking about it. But I also see a lot of people reacting to Garcelle's commentary on Dorit and Boz's relationship. I see that you guys like to build these reality TV stars up in order to take them down. We'll talk about that as well. But first, guys, let me know where you are watching from and how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel because it is a subscribers only live chat, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. And for those that have been saying, it doesn't notify me, make sure that you turn them off and maybe turn them back on, but also follow us on Twitter and of course the new platform, Blue Sky, because we will always update you there. And if you're a member of the channel, we've definitely linked the new Discord link. So if you want to be a part of our Discord family, you have to be a member. So become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And I know a lot of you have been asking me for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, but as you can see, I'm not in our normal studio space, and we had to really piece together the lighting here because I forgot my lighting. Damn. It is what it is. That's something we can talk about during the Kempire University workshop. All right. So again, more information on my London activities will be available in the description. So go get your tickets if you are in London, because I don't want to hear later, oh, I didn't know you were here in London. Well, I've been mentioning it in every single video, including the 2 videos that we did yesterday, giving you your Wendy Williams update and some Married to Medicine news. So if you missed that, be sure to check that out as well. Shout out to our subscribers, shout out to our King's Guards, and of course, shout out to our channel members in the live chat. We appreciate you guys being here. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because I did see some of the commentary on social media reacting to it when it aired live. But as you know, I was traveling, so I ended up watching it a little bit later than usual. So at the top of this episode, we have Garcelle preparing with her son, Jade, for a photo shoot. As you know, I think people forget that Garcelle started out as a model in this business, and then she got into acting. So for me, this is like a kismet full circle moment for her. And she says that he's usually the quiet one amongst her sons. So this is sort of a way for him to kind of step out of his shell. And honestly, he really is a natural. He looks really, really good. But I love seeing this mom and son photo of them together. That was one of the ways that she promoted this week's episode, this photo of them in these matching red suits. I was like, this is really, really cool. And if you remember last season, Garcelle, although she doesn't say she has any favorites, you can tell that they have a closer bond than her other sons. And of course, I'm sure as parents, your bonds are different, but on some level, these two have a very, very close bond. So her guiding him in this realm is really, really cool. Was that Kim Kimble that I saw back, behind the scenes? I'm assuming Kim was there to help with Garcelle's look and her hair. Anyways, we'll get back to that because at the top of the episode, we see Garcelle preparing for this photo shoot. We also see Erica getting a new Porsche. I don't like to clock people's money. However, how exactly is Erica buying a new Porsche? Her salary from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Well, let's see. I'm hearing she makes maybe like a little bit over $1 million. But what about the agents? What about managers, stylists? Like her looks are expensive. Where is this money coming from? Maybe the hidden money that Tom Girardi has? Okay. I don't know. I'm not, look, or maybe her new sugar daddy. Who knows? But I did find it interesting. And I'm sure a lot of you probably noticed throughout the episode, we had a lot of Erica clocking everyone else's goods and saying like, whoa, I know where that Louis Vuitton purse is from. I know how much that is. And There's a lot of commentary from Erica in regards to that. And I found that to be interesting. It also reminds us that Erica Jane is clearly superficial and she was only with Tom Girardi because he was able to supply her the life that she had. She even talked about how mean Tom Girardi was and some of the nasty things that he would say to her over the years. Yet she decided to stay with him. Because, again, he gave her a life that no one else could give her, even though that life was supported and monetized by victims' money. And even though she knows that now, she still wants to hold on to earrings that clearly states that they were bought with victim money. But he gave them to me as a gift. Whatever. Mauricio's getting ready for a Euro trip. And then look, we do get a scene with Mauricio and Kyle. And I have to say, Kyle's become insufferable to watch on the show. However, her scene with Mauricio, and maybe because it's Mauricio high on edibles, who knows? I don't know. He didn't say it. We know he does dabble. But he was just living his best life, a single man. Body is tight from doing Dancing with the Stars. I was like, okay, Mauricio, we see you. Mauricio used to be that guy on the show. Everyone would say he was the hottest house husband. Then he got a little frumpy. Then he started, looking a little, maybe it was too much of the edibles. But now he's a single man. He's got rid of the dead weight, a.k.a. Kyle Richards. And he's got his own apartment. He's a rich man now. Because remember, when he got with Kyle, he was not rich. He was struggling. She had the name. She really was. I wouldn't say that Kyle was rich. Because, a lot of people love to say, oh, people were rich. But as Kathy said last week, she came with more to the table than he did. Which means that, Big Kathy probably left some money for them. Probably not a lot of money, but more than Mauricio had. But Mauricio's doing well now. And I think at this point, Mauricio does better than Kyle in real estate at the agency. When I was in LA, not this last time, but the last year, and I was walking around the streets of LA, I would see the agency, signs and stuff like that. I saw the agency sign somewhere else. Was it in New York? Possibly. I don't remember. I saw it somewhere else recently. And I was like, okay, the agency's everywhere. Huh? He's doing well for himself. He can thank Kathy's husband. Anyways, no. Look, in real estate, you can get opportunities, but you also have to hustle in order to be successful in it. And I don't want to take that away from Mauricio. But we'll get back to Mauricio. Speaking of Kathy Hilton. Look, Kathy Hilton might be just a friend of the show, but she hosted an event. And I know a lot of people believe that Kathy puts on. No, I think after how many seasons of watching her on Beverly Hills, it's very clear that she's a little kooky. Okay. But also, I can also see the dark side of Kathy Hilton and dark side of her being your big sister and being controlling and bossy. But I think right now, the editors are going to give her a lovely edit. She's going to have fun with the women. So she goes around and brings all the women an invitation, but the invitation is included with a carry-on with their initials on it. And within the carry-on are towels, Red Bulls, tanning lotion or something like that. No, not tanning lotion. It was like tanning lotion or something like that. Bozema. We apologize already. I'm just going to call you Bozema, okay? Just to be reminded. Anyways, so Kathy decided because she wants to save on shipping. So she's going to deliver all of the carry-ons via her Rolls Royce, along with her branding manager. First of all, I just love that Kathy Hilton, who's rich, these women on the show are rich, but she's rich. I just love the fact that she's carrying these carry-ons down the steps herself. I think a lot of people would think that Kathy would have people to do those things. No, Kathy's got the carry-ons along with her brand manager, and she's loading them up in the Rolls Royce. I was like, okay. And Kathy's driving herself, and she's driving to I like this moment from Kathy Hilton. It was like, this is just kooky, fun, light energy. We're not talking about Kathy using the gay slur at an Aspen club or losing it. Okay, I had to remind you guys of what happened. Okay, forgotten. But I like it. But Kathy says she wants to save save some money on shipping. So she's going to deliver these carry-ons herself. But I appreciate it. So Kathy drives over to Bose's home first. First of all, I don't know this particular area of LA, but apparently they love this area. Like, oh, it's so pretty here. So they go to Bose's house and delivers it. And Bose is just sort of like, why is Kathy Hilton in my door with a carry-on and a pleated bucket hat? Well, a lot of people reacted to this bucket hat when she first wore it on the show. So now that's also a gift for all the ladies in their carry-ons. Okay. So they have a brief interaction and it's sweet. Kathy Hilton, Bo said that this is a very Beverly Hills type of thing for someone to just show up at your door with a carry-on of gifts. And that's their form of an invitation. Okay. I wouldn't know that life. So I'm going to just agree with Bose in regards to it. Kathy then leaves Bose's home to go to Garcelle because Garcelle's photo shoot is not far from Bose's home. So she meets up with Garcelle there and she crashes the modeling shoot. We see that Jade is in another outfit. He really is a natural. I can definitely see how he would stand out in the world. I'm not saying that he's the only one that looks like the way that he does in the modeling world, but there aren't a lot of people that look like he does. And I can definitely see him having a, potential. And they also mentioned that he seems like a natural. Both Kim and Garcelle are just looking at him model, and they're just like, he's just a natural. I mean, I couldn't tell that he was an amateur at it based off of what we were seeing in the scene. So Kathy shows up with her gifts for Garcelle. Garcelle seems real tickled by Kathy. And one of the things that I do enjoy about the ladies from Beverly Hills, and this is one of the things that we said before, I know that a lot of these housewives pre-produce. I know a lot of them, decide what they want to share and not to share on the show. But one thing I can appreciate about Beverly Hills is that we do see them hanging out, going to each other's parties throughout the year. It's not just during filming. We already know that Sutton, Garcelle, and Jennifer Tilly have a friendship and they hang out outside of the show along with Crystal Kung-Minkoff. However, we do see that they are attending like Kathy's parties. Kathy's had a lot of parties. Some might say that that's the reason why they're so nice and friendly with Kathy, because they want to be invited to these parties because apparently you get nice gifts from these parties. I'm not that desperate for a gift. I'm just saying that it would have to be really something special for me to be like, oh, maybe if they're giving out cash, oh yeah, I'm going to come out of my house or go to somebody's party to smile and laugh with people that are quite fake. I just get that energy when I go to LA. It's like this, not authentic, not real. There's something. Remember, I'm a New Yorker, so it's like black and white from both coasts. But anyways, so Kathy sees the photo shoot. She's like, oh my gosh, she looks great. But you still look like the big sister to him. And I was like, yes, I think Kathy was trying to be, give a compliment. But I was like, you know what? I could see that energy. Garcelle looks good. And here we go. Because I know a lot of you are going to say, Garcelle is beautiful. But what's going on with the outfits? You can't have everything. I keep telling you guys, she's beautiful. She's smart. She's talented. She's booked and busy. We can't expect her to also be able to dress well. If anything, it makes her humble. Okay, that is where it evens out. God does not give you everything. All right, she already has the cheekbone. She's already aging lovely. She can't have everything. Let her dress tacky. Okay, if anything, it makes me feel she's more relatable. Okay, fine. Let it go, people. She's in LA. She could easily hire the best stylist. Okay, let her walk around frumpy dumpy. I need her to be relatable. I need her on our level. And even at our level, she's still above us. Just like, anyways. So Garcelle goes out to look at Kathy's Rolls Royce. She's like, only Kathy would be doing this. Kathy, on her adventure at the top of this episode, ends up going to Dorit's home. What I find interesting is that despite Dorit and what's happening between Dorit and Kyle, Kathy's still able to maintain, it seems like, a very close relationship with Dorit. But at the end of the day, Kyle already knows that there's nothing that she could do, say, that would force Kathy to do what Kyle wants. Kyle feels like she can do that on the show and she can do that with the other women, because if the tables were reversed, she wouldn't like the fact that Kathy is so close with Dorit and she's having issues with Dorit, which might be a cause of an issue between Kyle and Erica, because Erica's looking kind of two-faced this season. Nah, two-faced might not be the word. No, she's definitely looking a little two-faced, because she's saying one thing to Kyle and then she's saying another thing to Dorit. And Dorit clocked Erica a couple of times during this episode in regards to, well, I showed it to Erica and Erica agreed. Okay, fine. Look, fine. All right. So Kathy goes to Dorit's home and she, delivers the carry-on. And Dorit loves the hat. She says, this will go so well with my Chanel bathing suit. She's like, this is so chic. Because you guys made such a big deal of her saying so chic, she's going to say it all the time. Okay? She's going to say it all the time. So Kathy then ends up going to her sister's house, Kyle's house. And this is where we find that, Kyle's making changes to the family home, because she still is in a family home. Despite Mauricio moving out, Mauricio has his own apartment. He signed a 6-month lease. So she says she's making little changes throughout the home. And honestly, just seeing the interaction between Kyle and Kathy, although they didn't grow up like you and I, however, you can see the sisterly, that's what connects all of us. Because no matter how much money you make or anything like that, there are so many similarities to a sibling dynamic that you can see. And your big sister's coming over, she's looking at, oh, where did you get this? Or just their interaction just felt natural and not so pre-produced. Okay. So Kyle talks about the different changes that she's making, sort of like a fresh start. So she's making some changes to the home since Mauricio has moved out. Kyle says that she doesn't have that Dorit. I thought this was so hypocritical and Kyle just delusional. Every week, it feels as if Kyle is trying to find a new reason to be mad at Dorit. But she says that Dorit doesn't have a solid issue. And then I'm thinking to myself, Kyle, you don't have a solid issue with Dorit. And I think that's why Dorit is having her sort of swan song this season, because because Kyle has really become unlikable. In the early seasons of Beverly Hills, I liked Kyle, but definitely in the last maybe 3-4 seasons, Kyle has just steadily become more and more unlikable. And this season, it's so clear that she's reaching for some sort of issue with Dorit. And I think the reason why people believe that this is real is this fight between Dorit and Kyle is real is because they feel like they have an issue with Kyle and they understand where Dorit could have an issue with Kyle. So she says that Dorit doesn't have a solid issue with her. Kathy says that maybe 2 years ago, Kyle wouldn't have this issue with Dorit because, she was in a different space. She was happy in her marriage. So she's saying that Kyle is just extra sensitive right now. Okay. But she says, everything's going to be fine on this trip to Oceanside that they're going to make. And Kyle's just like, welcome to Kathy's hunky-dory holidays. Look, I mean, and you will perform per usual, Kyle. You will fall in line because it's your sister. But speaking of Kyle, then we have this other scene with Kyle and Mauricio. So Mauricio comes over looking like a snack. Okay, Mauricio, body is tight. He lost, the man gut, the daddy gut. He's looking good. He's looking happy. And of course, this is annoying Kyle. Here's the thing. We have to remember, Kyle is the one who wanted this separation. She's the one. We have to remember that. She initiated this. He wanted to stay with her. He wanted to be able to stay with her and cheat in peace, allegedly. So Kyle has a conversation with Mauricio, and this is where we get the update. Mauricio has this new apartment. He signed a 6-month lease. And so she thought, this is just them testing the waters, trying to figure things out. However, he's bought all new furniture, and not furniture that was already there. So she's like, so is he not coming back? The producers do ask her during her confessional, do you see any hope of you and Mauricio maybe getting back together, or do you want that to happen? And she's like, I don't want to answer that. Okay, Kyle, are you going to drag out the storyline for the next 2 seasons? Because we've been over it since last season. Either you're going to divorce him or you're not going to divorce him. But we understand why she might not divorce him, because they both had nothing when they got together. And despite last week, her saying, oh, well, we would split everything 50-50. It's not going to be that type of divorce. He even said it in his book. I'm half owner of the agency. Is that in writing? And I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about legally. And Sutton was telling her, girl, men do not like to part with their money. So I could see potentially why they haven't moved forward with a divorce. But there's something just not clicking. And I think the audience feels that. And I think it's because Kyle is so disingenuous. It's hard to figure out what exactly is real and what is not when it comes to her relationship with Mauricio. Do I think that they've had issues? Yes. Do I think they decided this is the time to talk about those issues? Yes. Do I think that Mauricio is enjoying it no matter if it's pre-produced or if it's real? Yes. Because he gets to live his best life. He's his best shape. He's got an apartment. He's able to kiss other women and no one's going to judge him. But it's so interesting to see their dynamic. They're definitely not in a contentious place. They seem to be getting along very well, which is great for the children. But I'm wondering, okay, so what's the end game here? What's the end game? But Sutton said last week, it's important for Kyle to file first so that anything that happens after the filing date, because for all we know, Kyle could launch a new business or have a pay raise over at Beverly Hills, and he would be entitled to it. Maybe. We don't know what's going on with Kyle and Mauricio, but this was an interesting scene because it gives us that update in regards to where their relationship is at. We also have to remember that Mauricio's in real estate, so he can always get an apartment. I said this before, it's like, just because he moved out doesn't mean I believe that this is real, because he can always get a place and act as if he's moved out. But we saw she said, I took over a part of your closet. His clothes are still there at the house. Just saying. Guys, if you're just joining us for our Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, don't forget to let us know how you would rate this week's episode of Beverly Hills. I thought it was actually really good, this week's episode. I'm not going to give it a 9 or a 10 because it was just okay. There wasn't a lot happening, and the main issue is, Kyle and Mauricio and Kyle and Dorit. And I'm not that invested in either storyline because they're not that interesting. But I thought it was decent. So I probably would give it an 8. I think it was a solid episode. Maybe an 8.5. 8.5 because of Kathy hosting this event. And Kathy does know how to host because Kathy's willing to spend money despite not wanting to spend money on shipping. She was being funny though. Okay. But be sure to let me know how you would rate this week's episode. And don't forget to like the video. Liking the video is important because it also allows other content creators that cover similar topics like pop culture or reality television, they will start to show up on your Explorer page as well. All right. So make sure that you like the video as well. And don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our podcast on the Kempire podcast. While you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. Also, our holiday merch is now available at the houseofkempire.com, and everything Kempire will be available in the description. And of course, as you can see scrolling across your screen, we have a few different activities available here in London. So make sure you get your tickets. I did see a subscriber in, where was it? Not with H&M. We went to Uniqlo. Oh, Primark. a subscriber, and I should have promoted the damn show, but I forgot. But so if you see me in the streets of London, make sure you make yourself known so I can remind you. Come to the show. I'm going to start wearing a sign to let you guys know. Got a show coming. Sidebar. Because I'm working here in London, of course, you have to get a worker's visa. So I thought this was really lovely. The customs agent was asking me about it. He's like, so what do you do? How long you been doing it? And normally, if I travel a lot, so I've dealt with a few different customs agents. Nowadays, you don't have to because now everything's like electronic. But I've traveled for years. So a lot of times they're not the most friendly. This guy was so lovely. I have to say, everyone I've experienced traveling, even when I was in New York, and you know how JFK can be. But shout out to Virgin Atlantic. The desk agent I met was really lovely there. And then, of course, here, I was like, okay, it started off as a good trip so far. I say all that to say back to Housewives of Beverly Hills, guys. All right, because there's just so much to talk about. So Dorit FaceTimes with Erica, and Erica said that she spoke to Kyle about the BravoCon comment, and she said, watching it back, it really wasn't that serious. And we said that before when Kyle kept on trying to find many reasons for why she's mad at Dorit. It just didn't make any sense, especially the BravoCon comment, because clearly it was a joke. It came off as a joke, but okay. She says she also didn't feel like that moment was planned or meant to be malicious, obviously. And they keep replaying it like it's going to change. I'm like, no, we all see that Kyle is just reaching in regards to her issues with Dorit. But Dorit points out something that I found to be interesting. And this is where I do believe that Dorit might have a real issue with Kyle. She said that Kyle has iced her out many times over the years. And then she lists them after the comments that Dorit made about Kyle's fashion show. And this is where I kind of give Dorit credit and I remember watching this back then when Kyle had the fashion show for her muumuus. I don't remember what they're called, the Afghan caftans. And that's when we saw Dorit kind of get into her fashion mode. I was like, look, Dorit actually has a skill set. She knows what she's doing. And Kyle clearly didn't know what she was doing at all. So apparently Kyle must have iced her out after seeing those comments on the show. And this was several years ago. She says she also got iced out in Aspen when she sided with Erica. Then, see, now these are solid reasons. So this is why I'm team me all day. But if I had to pick a team here, I would be team Dorit because she actually has solid reasons to be mad at Kyle versus Kyle's reasons. So the fashion show issue, she got iced out. The Aspen issue, sided with Erica, she got iced out. And then she says and I don't think she sided with Kathy. I think she was trying to help them communicate during the reunion. And she said Kyle iced her out for 6 months. 6 months. I believe this. And you see it during the after show when Erica talks about the BravoCon moment. And then Erica sort of, again, tap dances for Kyle because she's like, I didn't see it. I didn't understand where you were coming from when it came to the BravoCon comments. But then when you said, oh, she was saying other things, and you can see, so just pay attention to Kyle's face during the after show. And I was just like, Erica looks like she's just probably being friends with Kyle in order to solidify her place on the show. And that's something that you notice on Real Housewives. Certain housewives will only remain loyal to like the OG of a show because they know that will probably protect them in the future of keeping this job. And let's be honest, Erica Jane needs this job. She's buying Porsches. She has that expensive rent in Encino. She needs this job. All right. I also don't know if her sugar daddies are covering any of this stuff. Anyways, so the group the next day meets at Kathy's. Okay, they meet at Kathy's for this trip. Kyle walks in and Kyle shows off her Birkins, and she has she has a Birkin within a Birkin, and she's showing this to Bozema. Bozema was like, "What is going on?" Mind you, they're showing us the prices of the bags, and the price just keeps going up and up. First of all, okay, so I guess this is Kyle's way of being able to pack multiple bags and have multiple bags while she's on this trip. You know she loves a bag, but apparently with bags, it actually is a good investment because she could end up selling those if she ever needs it. Good for her. I also don't think that Kyle is. I wouldn't say she's thrifty, but I also don't think she spends frivolously, and that's probably because she remembers a time when she didn't have all of these things. All right. So Dorit then gives us an update in regards to speaking to PK. And she says, during their conversation, PK said that, we're not going to be talking 5 times a day. And she's like, now we're not talking at all. All right. Speaking of bags, Jennifer Tilly comes in, and I saw everyone reacting to Jennifer Tilly's Louis Vuitton boat bag, which is worth $33,000. And you see, again, Erica react to the bag. She's like, oh, I know that bag. She's like, that's actually art. Look, we know Erica misses the life that she used to have. All right. She's not able to spend the way that, yes, she's buying things now, but she's not able to spend like she used to with Tom Girardi. And I know last week she mentioned how Tom had, cheated on her and things like that. I'm pretty sure that they weren't sleeping together. And I'm sure that she knew she didn't care as long as she had the life in that mansion and she was able to buy and do whatever she wanted. Okay. So Jennifer Tilly later in this episode confirms what the rumors on the street were in regards to her ex-husband giving her a percentage of the Simpsons, because I don't think she's ever confirmed it. Maybe she has in interviews, but I don't think so. But she confirmed it during this episode of Beverly Hills that the rumors are true, that she does get a percentage of the millions of dollars that are made by The Simpsons every single year. I'm not mad at it. And although we're not getting a lot of Jennifer Tilly during the actual episodes, watch the after show. I mean, Bravo's not paying me, but watch the after show because you get to see more of her personality. And I enjoy it. I can see why Sutton is friends with her. But Sutton's also a Virgo, so it makes sense to me that she's going to have like this sort of like down-to-earth friend. What is Jennifer Tilly's sign? Let me look that up. Yes, I'm going to look it up while we are talking about this. Hold on. Jennifer Tilly. And then if you know me, you know I love me. Oh, she's a Virgo too. So that makes sense. Look, she's a Virgo too. So that makes sense that's why I like her energy. It's interesting because Garcelle is a Sagittarius. So it's interesting to see the dynamic. But again, we're talking about the sun sign. You need to know someone's birth chart to really understand what makes their full personality. Because one Virgo is not the same as another Virgo, or, one Taurus is not the same as another Taurus, and, etc. Anyways, so they're in the Sprinter headed to Oceanside. Kathy with all her multiple pillows. You saw in the Rolls Royce, she had all her pillows. You got to be comfortable. Matter of fact, I need a pillow behind me right now. But they play a little bit of a game, which I appreciate because this, Sprinter ride could just be boring where everyone's just kind of sitting there not doing anything. So I can appreciate a Garcelle. For those of you who say doesn't have a storyline, but she adds fun to this group. Look, we've seen newbies come and go on the show that have brought nothing. 8.5. And look, I like Crystal's new podcast, but she would probably sit on this Sprinter and not say a word, even though I think she's fun in other scenarios outside of this group. But I can appreciate Garcelle, that might be the Sagittarius in her, a fire sign, that she's able to kind of step up and get the conversation going. So they play this game, and someone asks, have you ever been with anyone or dated anyone famous? So Garcelle's been in Hollywood a long time. So she's like, yeah, Eddie Murphy, Sean Penn, Will Smith. Erica's like, I didn't know about Sean Penn. Erica also says, well, all these men that Garcelle dated, like a Will Smith or Eddie Murphy or Sean Penn, why didn't she marry them? But she married this other guy. Don't sleep on the people behind the scenes. Because remember, Garcelle, even though she was cheated so badly and terribly by that man, he was an agent in Hollywood. So don't sleep on the people behind the scenes, because those are the movers and shakers, and we'll get you booked. I don't know what he was doing or how well he did in Hollywood, her ex-husband. However, don't sleep on those folks, okay? Just saying. And sometimes it's better to get with like a person that's behind the scenes versus like an Eddie Murphy. That's like too much of a spotlight on your relationship. But Garcelle has lived. And then they start talking about crooked you-know-whats. But they were having a good time. And but you could see the people that were having the good time and engaging in the conversation were Jennifer Tilly, Sutton Strack, and Garcelle. For me, that was they made that Sprinter fun, okay? So they end up arriving, and we see a Tom Cruise lookalike. Have we forgotten that Tom Cruise is weird now? I remember, people back in the day. I mean, they're all women of a particular age, but remember back in the day, people used to love Tom Cruise. But now we know he's a Scientologist and weird, and hasn't seen his daughter Suri, right? Is her name Suri? In like 10 plus years because of his religion. We forgot it. We're gonna pretend like we don't. No. Oh, okay, fine. Okay. Let me take a sip from my coconut water. Guys, don't forget to like the video. It's easy and it's free. And don't forget, Washington, D.C. We're coming to Washington, D.C. on January 24th, 2025. We're starting off the new year and inauguration week in D.C. Okay, I will be the light at the end of that very dark tunnel, okay? Okay. Go get your tickets, Washington, D.C. We already have a low ticket alert on meet and greets and a low ticket alert on premium seating. So make sure you get your tickets today if you haven't already. And New York City, very soon, we will be announcing our New York City date. So that will probably be coming at the top of next year too. Okay, so if you've been waiting for our Kempire After Dark, a live experience to come back to New York City for our third show, let's sell this out together. More information on everything Kempire will be available in the description. All right, so Tom Cruise. They have this Tom Cruise lookalike. He really did. I mean, he had the sunglasses on. Maybe if he took the sunglasses off, he wouldn't have. But everything else, the hair, the smile, looked like Tom Cruise. All right. Bo says, well, next time, if she could do this, if Kathy can do this, next time, can she order Idris Elba next time? I really do enjoy Bozema. I know people, including myself, are a little wary of Bozema's newfound friendship with Dorit, but she's easing her way into the group. I'm never going to tell someone to be friends with whoever. We know who Dorit is and what Dorit has shown us over the years. I very much like myself. I want Bozema to find out that stuff on her own, and maybe she will be okay with it. Not so much for me. But Bozema gave us a few different looks this episode and hair. I was like, Bozema, I'm enjoying what you're bringing. And it's so uniquely her. What's Bozema's sign? Look, we talk astrological signs. Shut up. Let me look up her sign because I need to know. I need to know so I can judge her accordingly. Bozema. There we go. Let me see what her sign is. She's 47 years old? She's a youngin'. She's January 21st. What does that make her? Capricorn? Or Aquarius? I think she's an Aquarius. She's on the cusp, though. Let me see. January 21st. I think that's an Aquarius. Let me see. Yep, it's Aquarius. Okay, both of them. That's why she's got that big personality and like quirky sense of style. Okay, she's weird like an Aquarius. Okay. But I enjoyed a lot of her looks in this episode and just the hair. And she has a hair business and she has a history of marketing. She knows what she's doing. She's got to make sure that the hair looks like, you want this type of hair? Well, I have a brand for you. She didn't make it to the top of being a CMO at Netflix for doing nothing. Okay. And retired at 47. Okay. Well, goals, Bozema, goals. Okay. All right, so Kathy hosted the ladies for a group lunch. Erica says she's limiting her alcohol consumption, and they flash back to some of the reasons why she might be doing that, which is fine. Look, I do enjoy a Erica Jane that has a couple of drinks. She was fun last season in regards to the immerse is in the purse, okay? Kathy, of course, she doesn't have the best eyesight. She thinks she sees a whale, but it's actually a surfer in the water. Okay. Dorit tells Bose about PK getting this new apartment. And it shouldn't be a big deal, but she says that they agreed that they were going to have open communication and he didn't tell her anything about this apartment. So Garcelle mentions at the top of the table, like, are we not a part of this conversation? So Erica lets her know, like, oh, they're talking about PK and things like that. And I can see why people are sort of like, why does Garcelle, if you pay attention to Garcelle's look, she's sort of looking at the end of the table, like, what's going on over there? And maybe she doesn't want Bose to become friends with Dorit, because as you know, Dorit and Garcelle have had issues over the years. Rightfully so, because Dorit has said and done things that are annoying. And in this season, I do see the edit showing that Garcel's making all these comments about Dorit. And I said to you, I can see Dorit and Garcelle having like a frenemy relationship, very like Karen and Giselle like, but we still need to have good moments between them. We only get these shady moments between them. And right now we're only seeing that coming from Garcelle. So that makes Garcelle look like, girl, you're just being mean to be mean. But I will say I do giggle at some of the comments about Dorit, because a lot of the people that have talked about Dorit or have been around Dorit have said the same thing. Crystal on her podcast with Cynthia Bailey mentioned that, yeah, Dorit's different. Once that camera starts, she's one way, but off camera, she's another way. I was like, oh, that's interesting to think about. Not surprising at all. But Garcelle is sort of like feeling out of the loop in regards to the conversation between Bozema and Dorit, maybe sensing that Bozema is forming a closer relationship with Dorit, and maybe she would like to be closer with Bozema. Look, some people vibe, some people don't vibe. However, all of you in the comment section or on social media within the Bravo universe wanting to pin Garcelle versus Bozema already, y'all tried that with 8.5, and 8.5 fell for it. I don't think that's going to happen. All we've seen between Bozema and Garcelle, especially off of the show, is just love for each other. I don't see there being any issue. However, just because they're two Black women doesn't mean that they can't have an issue either. We have to remember that it doesn't just work that way. Some personalities won't mesh. But Bozema's an Aquarius and Garcelle is a Sagittarius. No, they're going to have a good time together. And again, we have to think about this. We're watching an edited show. They could be having a good time with each other. There could be scenes that we haven't even seen yet or will never see where Bozema and Garcelle have hung out. And if I could see, especially because Bozema is single, Garcelle is single, Sutton's single. You remember that Erica Jane is single? I want to see these single women go out and have a good time, especially because they would probably be a good time. Dorit, although she's not single, but she's in this separated place, I don't think she'd be that much fun. I'd much rather see even Sutton. And you wouldn't even think Sutton would be a good time. But we saw Sutton be a good time when they went out the last time, Garcelle, Sutton, and Erica Jane. I want to see them add a Bozema to that. And even Jennifer Tilly. That would be a good time. However, one of the accusations that Garcelle has faced most recently from Erica Jane is that they play to the audience. I don't think they need to play to the audience. The audience just naturally loves Sutton and Garcelle, but I do feel like people are now trying, they built Garcelle up. Now they're ready to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They're ready to take her down. Garcelle is human. She could feel insecure or upset that the new girls come into the group and she's now becoming friendly with someone I don't like. Put yourself in your place. You probably would feel a way too. Should you? No. Everyone can be friends with whoever they want to be friends with. But no one likes to be left out either. Let's not hold these folks to a certain pedestal that we wouldn't hold ourselves in our real lives. Okay? And she's also Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, I feel like, can be a little sensitive. They want to be a part of the conversation, a part of the party. Come on, Sagittarius, tell the truth. Okay? Anyways, so I'm going to give Garcelle grace. And it seems as if this comes up again later, but don't forget, because y'all don't pay attention, don't forget who brings this conversation up later. It's Sutton. It wasn't Garcelle. It was Sutton who brought it up. So like, what was up with that? What happened at the table earlier today? Because I was like, did Garcelle bring it up? No, it was Sutton. Anyway, but y'all don't remember that because the Sluttons are always slutting. Okay? All right. Let me move on because I have more. See, I can always say there isn't a lot happening with Beverly Hills, but I can always talk about Beverly Hills. I can't say the same. And for those that are asking if I'm going to recap Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, of course, when I have time, because just because I'm here on work doesn't mean I want to go and see parts of London, even though it's dreary and rainy. And I mean, that's London though. I didn't come here thinking that it was going to be sunshine in a heat wave, even though it's warmer here than it is in New York City. Just saying. But I would like to enjoy the Christmas markets. I went to a Christmas market last night, was walking around, just seeing, Christmas is slowly but surely happening here in London. So, I love a Christmas market. So I might need some extra suitcases for the Christmas market that I went to yesterday didn't have a lot. But that's Christmas markets. But I'm on the hunt. But if you're in London and you know of like a Christmas market that I should go see, or a place I should go see to go find some ornaments, be sure to let me know in the live chat or in the comment section, or hit me up on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky, people. The Kempire on Blue Sky. Okay. I am still tweeting on Twitter, but I'm slowly but surely focusing more on Blue Sky. Okay. But y'all know how y'all do. Oh, it's the new shiny thing. And then all of a sudden we're back on Twitter in the ghetto. Just saying. Okay. So, was there anything else that I wanted to talk about in regards to this scene? Okay, Jennifer Tilly then ends. This was part of what, after Garcelle makes the comment about, what are they talking about at the end of the table? It feels like, are we not a part of that conversation? The other thing that we have to keep in mind in regards to that, if you're at a group table like that and people are having like their own little side conversation and the rest of the group is having a conversation, I could see where you might feel like, what are they talking about? And why are we not involved? We also want to kind of get to know the new girl. I'm giving grace where grace is necessary because some of y'all don't give grace. Okay. All right. Or that's just me twerking on a fence, per usual. So Erica then talked about because they end up talking about, they find out that Dorit's talking about the situation with PK. And that's when they talk about men being mean and divorce being terrible. And Erica's makes the comment that, Tom was so mean. Like there are moments that I don't want to even mention. All right. Then Jennifer Tilly talked about her divorce from Sam Simon. But I know I did not a separate video talking about this, but I talked about this before in regards to Sam Simon. I think it was a collaboration with Femtara as well. But yeah, she pulled cards. I think that was during our Ultimate Real Housewives tarot reading. So if you missed that, just Google schmoogle it on YouTube. But Jennifer Tilly confirms what the streets have been saying, that Sam Simon, before he died, first of all, they were married for a few years. They got a divorce, but they remained friendly for many years. And apparently she was there for him when he was sick and dying. But in their divorce, he gave her a percentage of the Simpsons. She says at the time they didn't know the Simpsons would go on and be what they are today. Which makes sense because when she was married to him, if you look at the timeline of when they were married, but he gave her a percentage in their divorce. And I wonder if he had to, or did he just do that because honestly, they remained friendly even when he had moved on. I don't know if he had gotten married again. I think he had gotten married again, but they still remained pretty friendly and close. But she's so thankful. She every day she says, thank you, Sam, for doing that, because she's able to live a pretty damn good life just off of that. Yes, she's worked and she has other things that brings in money, but that's a nice check. That's a nice check she gets from The Simpsons every year. Okay. Does Jennifer Tilly have any children? I wonder. I don't think so. Here I go Google schmoogling again. Let me look. I don't think so, though. We're not going to get a lot of Jennifer Tilly's life on the show because she's not a full-time person. Oh, she does have a partner though, Phil Lack. Okay, we've all been Jennifer's Wikipedia at this particular point. She's been with him for 20 years, Phil Lack. Wow, and she was married to Sam Simon from 1984 to 1991. Okay, what was that? 7 years? But she says she was with him for like 10 years. Okay. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. No, she doesn't have any kids. No, I don't see any kids here. Well, better for her. All the money's all for her then. The reason why I thought kids, because I was thinking when she passes on, knock on wood, it happens to all of us. Like, who will she pass that on to? Sutton? I mean, if you're looking for a kid, Jennifer Tilly, right here, right here. She's a Virgo, though. Look, Virgo slander, per usual. All right, what else happened in here? Okay, so they end up playing a game, all right? And they bring out the Kathy mask, okay? From Kathy's promo photo for Beverly Hills. And Garcelle makes a snarky remark. Here's the thing. That's the thing that I enjoy about Garcelle is the fact that everyone can get it. The same way that we're over here. She even makes a snarky remark about Kathy. She's just like, we know this is a Kathy trip. We do not need a mask of Kathy. Okay. But I did find it interesting when they were choosing partners that Garcelle chose Bozema as a partner. During the after show, Sutton was like, you didn't choose me. Because look, Sutton's not the most athletic, though, when you think about it. So Garcelle chooses Bozema. Kyle chose Sutton. Dorit and Erica were working together. Dorit fell on her face many times. I was like, luckily they were in the sand, but damn. So they do a relay race. Dorit falls down. Garcelle and Bozema won. All right. Then they play Duck, Duck, Goose. And if you're not of a particular age, you probably don't even know what Duck, Duck, Goose is. I know what it is. I thought that was funny, but the ladies are like, what are we doing? And then Kyle makes a comment that, Kathy lives in her own worlds of like a nursery rhyme book. And then Kathy's like, yeah, I would much rather live in a nursery rhyme book. Okay. So when they're playing Duck, Duck, Goose, Dorit falls again on her face. Garcelle makes the comment in her confessional. It's like, why can't she stand up? Like, what is going on here? But it's true. She literally falls on her face again. I thought it was cute. I know some people are like, you know what it is? I'm tired of the same Housewives games that we've seen over and over again. This was sort of like in line with who Kathy is in regards to her personality. It's a reminder to those that don't even remember these games. And if you do remember these games, they're like, oh my God, I remember loving this game as a kid. Fine. So I thought that was cute. So then we have the group dinner. All right, so everyone's getting ready for the group dinner, and that's where Sutton brings up. So what was happening with Dorit and Bozema in that conversation, and not including the rest of the group. So that's where Jennifer Tilly and Garcelle like, yeah, I don't know, what that was about. So I saw a lot of you had reactions to, like Garcelle. And I was like, what about Sutton? Sutton's the one who brought it up again. Just say it. But I'm going to give them grace. Maybe they're just, feeling excluded. And no one wants to feel excluded. Okay? So the group dinner. So they sit down. Kyle makes a toast to her sister for hosting this event. And then Kyle mentions, that there's an elephant in the room because there's an issue between her and Dorit. So she wants to have a conversation with Dorit. Kathy's like, there's an elephant in the room? So Kyle says she wants to have this conversation. So they end up having the conversation. And I don't know if they should have this conversation with the rest of the group, but they tried having a separate conversation with each other. And that did not work. That did not work for them. Let me just put this on here for a second, y'all. Okay. Then Dorit brings up the fact that, I showed Erica the Bravo clip, and she also didn't see the issue. She threw Erica Jane under the bus multiple times in her fight, which I found to be interesting. And all you see is Erica just kind of put her head down, just like, oh, God, here we go. Yeah, here we go. What you said, stand on it, Erica. And it's based off of Erica Jane's personality, you think that she would stand on it. But will she stand on it when it comes to Kyle, the leader of the group? This is her show. That's what Krista Minkoff said she was told when she joined Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is Kyle's show. Okay? Unfortunately, it's her show. Y'all keep putting your eggs in one basket. I told y'all that about Real Housewives of New Jersey, and look where we're at with that. Just saying. So they talk about the BravoCon clip, and then Kyle says, well, it's not just that. That's just a piece of the puzzle. I'm like, okay, Kyle, so what's the real issue here? What's the real issue? So Kyle says, they mention, my opener from our LA show, Alexander Rogers. They bring up the comment that he made at BravoCon. I literally was in the room when Alexander went up there. That's when I first met Alexander. That was the BravoCon that I met Alexander. So he went up and asked me, well, why are you trying to make Teddi Mellencamp happen? So Kyle's issue with Dorit is the fact that she felt like Dorit should have defended Teddi also in that moment. I wonder how Teddi feels. Okay, Teddi, I already know Teddi's going to talk about this, but I really don't care what Teddi thinks. I think Kyle is reaching yet again in regards to have some sort of issue with Dorit. Okay, before it was the BravoCon clip. Now it's what Alexander Rogers said during BravoCon about Teddi. So you're mad at her because of that. She's like, that's just a piece of the puzzle in regards to why she's upset. Okay. And then she says, oh, the reunion, bringing up the text message and showing everyone the text message at the reunion. Dorit says, and during the reunion, Erica said that text message was manipulative too. All right. And then Dorit brings up the fact that Kyle has been doing all kinds of interviews talking about their friendship and things like that. So they play multiple clips of Kyle talking about their issues. Here's the thing. I'm now convinced that this is part of what the Housewives do pre-season so that they have these issues. We saw it on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City when Lisa in the first episode is talking about the interview that Whitney did. Now in this season, we see that Kyle is talking about her issues, pre-season in regards to Dorit, almost setting us up for this storyline. I'm just saying, look, is it possible? Yes. A lot of people have a podcast now, and a lot of these housewives are doing those podcasts. I just find it interesting, and especially because, Beverly Hills has been accused of being very pre-produced and planning out their season ahead of the season. So could be possible. But Dorit's just not having it anymore. And she throws Erica under the bus in regards to the text. She's like, she agreed with me. You saw it, but Kyle saw Erica's reaction when she showed Erica the text message. So this week, Kyle's upset about the text message too. All right. And Kyle says, you have ears and mouth to listen, blah, blah. And then Dorit she says, it's time for Kyle to listen. Okay. Look, I told you before, do I believe this fight between Kyle and Dorit? I can believe Dorit is upset with Kyle. Do I believe Kyle has a reason to be upset with Dorit? No. But I also believe that this season, producers want this to be Dorit's season. Because remember, the last 3 seasons, there have been rumors that Dorit was being fired. And then we had some things happen that has secured Dorit's position. And I feel like this season they're saying that this is Dorit's season. This is her moment. I'm not 100% falling for it. I don't care about Dorit's fight with Kyle. And I honestly don't care about Dorit's separation from PK. Single PK. But even though we don't have a lot in regards to drama, I was entertained. Because I have to say, there's just a natural chemistry amongst this cast that is worth watching. And yes, they're living a life that a lot of you love watching in regards to spending money and going on trips. But we also had some good times. We had them playing games that we wouldn't play at our big age. But they were interesting to watch these women do it and have a good time. And yes, there's little issues happening that we might not be invested in, but there are also things that we're learning. Jennifer Tilly confirming that, yeah, she is that girl. Like she's a very rich girl. All right. Rich woman. So those are my thoughts on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Guys, be sure to let me know how you would rate this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I know quite a few of you still watch, but you rely on the algorithm to let you know when I posted something new. Please understand, we don't just talk about housewives here on the channel. We don't just talk about reality television. We talk about everything in pop culture. So if you missed our updates yesterday in regards to Married to Medicine and another Wendy Williams update, the family is speaking out through sources. So be sure to check out those videos if you haven't already, because suppressing these videos is a thing as well. So make sure you go to our page so you don't miss out on anything. And if you are in London, as I am, don't forget this weekend we have the Kempire University workshop. Tickets are available in the description. And then the very next day we have our show, our Kempire After Dark, a live experience featuring Your Aunties Could Never and our friend Grace Report will be dropping by as well. Tickets for that show are available in the description as well. Again, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. And don't forget to tell a friend about what we're doing over here on the Kempire channel, both here on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook as well. That's another place where we will update you on what's going on. So for those that say you're not notified on YouTube or you're missing out, your videos aren't showing up, there's so many places where we're posting information. So make sure you're following us on all of them. Okay. All right, London. I will see you in the streets of London, and I'll see you at our workshop on Saturday, and then, of course, our live show on Sunday. More information will be available in the description, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. I almost forgot what day it was. Jet lag. See you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into the Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, don't forget to give the Kempire podcast a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And as always, for more information on Kempire, social media, and other things Kempire, check out the description for more details.